So moving on to the rest of the bulkheads that start making up the tail cone, the first thing that they want you to do is to make this bracket here, this F729 Charlie. And you'll note that there's this diagram here, this cross-cut diagram, and it shows that this angle is supposed to be at 88.5 degrees. Now, of course, the angle as it comes is 90 degrees. So what I had done is just simply bring the part over here to my vise, and I put the part in this way into the vise, and then I squeeze it, and then I keep checking it on the print this way because the print is full scale. And if you happen to squeeze it too much, you could just put it on a hard flat surface and then hit it with a hammer and work it back out. So that's how I did that. And that's it for now. I'm in the process of making the bracket actually. But like I said, you can just fit it onto the actual drawing this way and check the angle. Alright. Alright, so I am working on the assembly of the 706 bulkhead and bell crank support ribs. That's right off the instructions. Now, the instructions are a little bit vague, and they want you to start off with this little bracket here, and you're supposed to put a few holes in it and then match it to this angle piece, which you're supposed to already have riveted to this piece. Well, to get the interface between this piece, this piece, this piece, and this front plate, as always, I like to do everything kind of in real time, or in as real as a scenario as I can get it. So to try to piece these pieces together just by drilling a couple holes, doing measurements, drilling holes, and hoping it works, I decided to mock fit it together as a unit. So that's what I have here. I have this piece, this front plate, which you probably can't see, and this piece clecoed to each other using the match drilled holes, so I know that they're accurate. And then I could fit this angle and this angle the way that they're supposed to be. So the instructions tell you that this face needs to be even with this, and this edge here needs to be even with this edge. And it works out nicely because this flange of this piece sticks out here, and it gives a little shelf for this to rest on. So you know that this is resting on this edge, and at this point it's just a matter of fitting this piece up to it. And then you can move this piece in and out and clamp it to this front plate, which is here, which you probably can't see. So that's all I've done. I've held this in place, and I've moved this out to get this edge even with this edge here. And it's resting right on top of this, and it's clamped to the front plate. So this is all in alignment now. Okay? Now at this point, since I have this jigged to the actual pieces that it needs to be connected to, I can use the pre-punched holes in this front plate, again using a small drill bit. I can mark the hole locations on this, which I'm going to do next. Then I can lay this piece in here the way I need to and mark its holes using this piece as the guide. And then I can finally locate this hole, which ties these two together. So that's kind of my plan. That's kind of where I'm headed. Alright, so moving forward, I've got this bracket in place now. This piece of angle is in place, and I've got it clecoed. Notice that these are number 40 holes up here for this. And I have this angle piece also fitted. And one thing you have to look out for this leg of the angle here, if you run this piece of angle too tight to this flange is bent on a radius in here. If you run this up against this flange too tight, it will actually rest on that radius and it won't lay flat here. So you want to make sure you have it back from the edge a little bit. Now, if you come back too far, you're going to have really poor edge distance between the end of this piece here and this hole. So it's a little bit of a fine line there. So anyway, I got this clecoed and I used a cleco type of clamp, and I clamped this here. Then I had this laid out so that it's even with this edge, and I went ahead using my drill, marked a location, drilled it. Now I've come back and clecoed it, and then I came down to the far end, did the same thing, made it nice and flush, made a mark, took it off, center punched it, drilled it, brought it back. So now this is in place and it's nice and flat along here. This leg is not riding up on the radius that's in here. So now, using the edge of this piece here, I made a mark on this angle which gave me good edge distance. And then using this edge here as a reference, I brought the hole back to give me good edge distance. So this hole was made again from the edge of this piece under here. I found good edge distance to 2D, marked a line, and then I came from this edge back this way to find the center of that hole. So this is really good edge distance on both this piece and this piece. I went ahead and center punched and drilled this hole. Now I'm going to match drill this hole to this piece. But the point of this video is that you want to maintain a 90-degree angle here before you put this hole into this piece, because there can be a lot of movement here, and that hole is going to end up all over the place. So you want to take a square and you want to square these pieces up and then mark that hole. Alright? Alright. Oh, and then of course after you get that hole located and drilled, put a cleco here, and then you can come back to this piece. Where am I? You can come back to this piece here and start laying out all these holes.